What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I want to talk about what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's happening to the market this far, and what you should be watching for as we progress tomorrow, as we're seeing some new headlines coming out for tomorrow, and what the charts are suggesting. I'm also going to conclude this video by doing something for fun, as I give you guys my Super Bowl prediction for today. But before I break anything down all this information, before I give you guys any predictions and talk about the charts, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks, and the offer ends very soon. Anyways, for Tesla, let's break down what's happening to the charts so far. Looking at Tesla's thing is on a very nice uptrend, at least for the very short term. In the last couple of days, Tesla's been uptrending, just pushing and pushing, and there's definitely more potential for Tesla to push even higher. But the question is, what's going to affect Tesla? What should we be watching for tomorrow, as we're seeing some new news come out that's very important for Tesla? What do I think is going to happen later on? I'll be talking about the charts in just a couple of minutes, but let's first talk about some news. So for tomorrow, it's going to be Monday, February 12th. Don't forget, we have Bowman from the Fed giving a speech at 9:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we also have consumer inflationary expectations coming out at 11. At 11:30, we have the 3-month and 6-month bill auctions that sometimes cause little moves, but it's very minor usually. And finally, at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Kashkari giving another speech. Now, please note, on our Hawk/Dove analysis scale, we have Bowman as the third most hawkish Fed speaker typically, and Kashkari has been the most hawkish this year so far. So this suggests that, from the way I'm seeing it, Bowman's going to speak in the morning, might not cause anything because he spoke a couple of trading days ago and didn't really cause anything for the markets. None of this data might even cause much, but then we do have Kashkari giving a speech at 1 p.m. that might shake the markets a bit, because Kashkari has said some things which are a bit more hawkish. Not extremely hawkish, just a little bit. He mentioned that the work is not done by the Fed. They can't make any promises, and they have to continue to monitor the situation and this and that. But the reason I'm calling him out is because he did speak a couple of days ago, right? And when he spoke, the market dropped a little bit temporarily before the market got bought back up like about 30 minutes later. So I just want to say that watch for volatility at 1 p.m. tomorrow when Kashkari opens his mouth. We might see some moves being made based off what he says, so watch for that very carefully. Now, anyways, that's pretty much it, at least as far as tomorrow goes in terms of data. It's very minor besides Kashkari coming out. But then for Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, February 13th, do not forget we have CPI coming out. This could be a make or break for the markets, so watch this very carefully. The market is expecting CPI to cool off even more, so let's hope we get something like that. That would be good, at least for the market as a whole. I don't fully trust the numbers from CPI in general, but don't forget we just have to look at these numbers because of what happens to the markets. So make sure you're prepared for that. For Tuesday, we have CPI and then just Kashkari at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Besides that, we have some more earnings coming out. Before the market opens, we have Monday.com on Monday. It's actually going to be one of the first pieces of earnings coming out for Monday. Then after that, we have just a few others, very minor earnings, nothing too crazy. But then for Tuesday, we have Shopify and Coca-Cola in the morning, not to mention Upstart, Robinhood, Lyft, and a few others like Airbnb after market close. And then finally, for Thursday, we have Coinbase and Roku announcing their earnings. Coinbase is going to be a very important one, so I'll be watching that very carefully. So earnings are going to be very minor. For Monday, there's nothing too crazy coming out, but we'll see how things go. Now for Tesla, we have some negative news which technically came out. The reason I'm calling this negative is because generally when Tesla cuts prices, we do see Tesla drop a little bit in terms of its share price. So be very careful when this news does end up making headlines. Tesla's announced another temporary discount on the Model Y. This is once again going to be a strategy to help them get more and more sales up, to help get demand up. But now the automaker is basically discounting the Model Y, its most popular vehicle, just temporarily. This is going to help create a little bit more demand. Basically, they're saying that the new Model Y RWD and long-range AWD prices have reduced for deliveries now through February 29th. Prices will increase by $1,000 or more on March 1st. That's what they're essentially saying. The Model Y RWD now starts at $43,000, and the popular Model Y dual range is going to be starting at essentially $48,000. So that's actually going to be a slight reduction that's being made right here. They're actually going to be allowing them to be available for lease starting at $379 $100 per month, and Tesla reduced the down payment to just $2,500. That's the cheapest way to get into the best-selling vehicle, according to them. So it's been a while since they last did this. This temporary discount is actually going to help them get more sales, but be a little bit careful because this is sometimes a sign of some slowing demand. And sometimes in the past, when Tesla kind of cuts these prices temporarily, we see the share price drop. It's been used as a catalyst to cause that. But don't forget, it's not the end of the world. It's just very temporary, very minor. So it may not be that crazy. I will talk about how this could affect the share price in just a minute. There's also some news coming out that the FSD Beta, the new version, is coming out to employees, and this is going to include a lot of benefits out there with the new software development. So this is very, very good. They're using this to help the updates basically just for employees so that they can look at this, test it out, and improve things for the public. And on top of this, they're going to be continuing to make more and more growth projections thanks to it. They're actually kind of reducing the amount of codes that they were using previously and improving the neural network. They're also talking about new features such as automatic set speed offsets, and they're going to be using this to overhaul the software. So that's going to be more useful. They're upgrading this. They're upgrading the city streets driving stack to a single end-to-end neural network on millions of video clips. So they're going to be using video clips for the training, and they're going to be looking at more situations as well. So that's actually good for them. A nice update for cities. This is going to be more useful, so we'll see how this goes. Once they start off with more employees getting it to test it, we're going to see more and more public members essentially get it as well. Volume was only about 84 million, a little bit below average. Average was 114 million. So volume dropped a bit, but Tesla's still holding up. The short volume has dropped a little bit to about 48%. On top of this, Daiwa Capital has now given Tesla a neutral rating. They downgraded it just a little bit, but Piper Sandler gave Tesla an overweight rating. Price-risk ratio is bouncing as Tesla's on a nice uptrend. I think Tesla will continue to uptrend as time goes on. In terms of daily seasonality, we're green about 53% of the time thus far on Mondays, which is not bad. And on top of this, don't forget that February is historically a weaker month for Tesla, but March tends to be stronger. But Tesla had a very, very different start to the year. January was very weak, and now February is starting to show a little bit more life. So we'll see how this ends up continuing. Let's hope Tesla can try to continue its push. Don't forget, we tend to see more seasonality, volatility around 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. And then also around 2 p.m., we tend to see Tesla being more volatile. So that being said, what does this mean for Tesla? So Tesla is on an uptrend right now. It's uptrending very, very nicely for the short term. Now, you could say what you want about Tesla on the much broader scales, whether Tesla's going to reject or not. It's up to you to decide. We're not focused on that quite yet. We're just going to focus on the really, really short term. So we're on a nice uptrend. I think Tesla will eventually reach this high right here in this 195 to 196 range. But before we break out, there might be a little retracement coming before it tries to push up higher. Now, why do I say that? Because don't forget, when we look at the last couple of days, Tesla started off high, it dropped and bounced, it dropped and bounced, dropped and bounced. Right here, it kind of dropped and traded sideways. It dropped and bounced on Friday. We might see something very similar again tomorrow because of the pattern. But I think ultimately Tesla has more upside coming. So we might see Tesla, if the news starts spreading that Tesla's cutting prices, Tesla's giving another discount, this could be used against Tesla again. And they might try to drop it just to grab more liquidity one more time. We'll see if Tesla retraces to 192.5. If that breaks, then 190 is coming. Then we could bounce off this and start pushing back up. So in the low 190s, we could bounce off that range and then push back up to 195. Back into this liquidity zone where we see a lot of choppy price action. That is what I think is going to pan out for Tesla. A little drop and then bounce. To turn bearish, you want to see it close below 190. To be bullish, you want to close above 196. I think it's going to be stuck in the middle, kind of pull back just a teeny bit, and then bounce after that and start pushing back up to the liquidity zone. For SPY, how is SPY looking? The answer is bullish. We're on an uptrend, making higher highs and higher lows. If we're bearish, you want to see SPY basically lose 500. If we lose 500 and fail to hold it, our next target is going to be in the 498.5 to 498s basically, because that's where we got the breakout down here. This is where our breakout started from up here. And then if we turn bullish, you want to see it break the high. If it breaks the high, I think we could get very close to the 503s. We could get very close to the 503s if that ends up being the case. What do I think is going to happen? My prediction is we might actually kind of drop a little bit, grab a little bit of liquidity, then they might push the market back up again. And we might even break this high. I think we're going to test the high again. If we break it, we're going to be looking for a bigger push to the upside. I think it still favors the bulls for a little drop and we open in a push to the upside. I think the chart still looks bullish. For the QQQ, this looks bullish as well. Watch 438 as resistance. If we break this, 440 is our next target. If we lose 436, we could be sinking back down to the 434s. What do I think is going to happen? I think we're on a nice uptrend. I think that the QQQ might attempt to break 438, and if we break this, 440 is going to be coming. I think tomorrow we might come down to 436, retrace a little bit, then bounce, start pushing back up to 438, and try pushing above that. So the chart still looks bullish, but it's also going to be dependent on Nvda. Nvda is still very strong, got this nice cup and handle breakout, but it's going to likely retrace a little bit back down to this 715 area, maybe a little bit lower. We could even test the breakout again. Excuse me, and then if we do retrace a little bit, I think that we could bounce from here and start pushing up higher to 420, not 4, sorry, 725. Sorry about that, guys. So look for a little retracement on Nvidia. We do have this imbalance down here, which makes me suspect it's going to drop a little bit, but then it's going to bounce intraday and start pushing up higher, which I think is going to help the QQQ. For Aapl, I think that Apple's in the middle right now. We're basically stuck at support at 188 and resistance at 190. If we break 190, we're going to be bullish. We're going to be looking for a push for it to invalidate this head and shoulders. If we fail to get a break into the 190s and we just continue to consolidate, we're going to be stuck in this range. But if we lose 188, we're going to be sinking back down to 186.5. We do have a head and shoulders that's forming, but there's nothing guaranteed yet about the chart. The best thing to do is wait and see which way we break, because it could go either way. Because we've been range bound for about 4 days in a row, right, with the back and forth and back and forth and back and forth price action. Let's just wait and see how it goes. Now, let me just go over a couple more tickers before I give you guys my Super Bowl prediction. So for RIVN, the chart looks bullish to me. I think that's going to retrace to about 16.5, then bounce, and then push up towards 17. We got rejected off 17.02 the last time. So I think 17 is coming. We'll have to see how it reacts to that. For SoFi, I think that the chart is still showing some life, but it's starting to struggle at this 50 EMA on the daily. So you want to be watching that carefully to see how SoFi performs. Basically, at the 50 EMA, if we break above this and start pushing, we have a gap to fill around 8.4. If we break that, 8.5 is coming. So we'll have to see if we could break the 50 EMA. As of right now, we're showing some life. We have a nice potential bullish cross in the PPO, so look for this little push up. Overall, SoFi is starting to look a bit more bullish to me. But we have to see it break the 50 EMA at 5.12 just for confirmation. The chart still looks bullish though. The Russell 2000 is about to get a bullish cross in the PPO. Just got it. And we're testing resistance at 200. If it breaks 200, I think it's going to be pushing up to 202, then 205. I think the chart looks bullish, but just to be safe, we'll have to see if we can get a break right here. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Overall, it's not looking too bad. Overall, it's still showing life. So let's hope that this thing continues to pump. On top of this, when it comes to Aapl is still kind of like in this range like I was talking about. I do want to note one thing about Aapl. There is a potential crossover on the PPO. We need a breakout. We have to break above 190 plus to get that breakout. This would be a bullish signal. We don't have it yet. I just want to call that out. We're getting closer, but we don't have it yet. The chart is still indecisive, so you have to wait and see. Microsoft looking bullish on the daily. It could push up to 422.5 and 425. So far, it's on a strong uptrend. There's no sign of it breaking down yet. Shopify is approaching its earnings, so I'm going to be watching this for a nice breakout. If it keeps breaking out, I'm going to actually pull up the weekly chart just to zoom out more. It looks very bullish on the daily. I could be looking for a nice move towards 95. If we zoom all the way out, right, when this thing was booming a lot more, we have this resistance right here around 90. What is this? 97, I believe it is. Let me just double check on the weekly. But it looks bullish nonetheless. It still looks bullish. I believe it's 98.85 basically. So I think that's Shopify. It's going to uptrend more. We're going to be testing 92.5. We have a nice bullish wedge forming. I think it's going to be pushing up for 95. Then if that breaks, 98.5 is coming. It looks bullish. For AMD, we're kind of a little bit flat right now, but this thing did make an attempt to break out basically, but it failed to get much of a breakout for the time being. I believe that it's going to actually come down a bit, and I think it's going to retest 172. And I think it's supposed to be the 30-minute time frame. I'm just trying to look at which one I'm looking for. So at 172, if it breaks and loses that, 171 is coming. If it breaks, if it manages to bounce off 172, it's going to basically bounce back up to 175. So watch it test 172. If it bounces, 175 is coming. If it loses, it's going to sink down. That's what I'm essentially seeing on the charts. The VIX is kind of indecisive and looking not the strongest. We'll see how this thing does. It does still look kind of bearish. It's been on this very, very big downtrend. Look at the bigger charts, the bigger time frames. So we'll see. I don't think it's ready to break out yet. There's no confirmation. Unless we get above like 13.5, then things could change. But I'm just going to be patient with this. The SQQQ is looking kind of weak. For now, it's still on a very, very bearish trend. No sign of a breakout, so just be very, very patient. The dollar index is kind of looking weak. It could retrace towards 103.95, so watch for that. For Coinbase, I'm anticipating a little pullback coming. It depends on if we could hold 140. If we lose 140, it's going to be sinking towards 137 to 136. And if we lose that, we have a big gap to fill down here at 134. So I think my prediction is it's going to pull back a little bit to at least the mid 130s, 136, if not 134, and then it's going to bounce back up towards 140. That's my prediction. A little drop in bounce. For Google, we look bullish. Google still looks bullish to me because on the daily time frame, it looks like it's going to fill this gap up here. I think that if we hold above 150, 153 is coming, so the chart still looks bullish. For Amazon, the chart is looking bullish as well. If we could break 175, watch 177.5, then 180, still on a very, very strong uptrend. For Meta, in my opinion, it's looking a little bit weaker. Watch 465 to be tested. If you lose that, 460 is coming. And I think that it might retrace a little bit towards 465, then bounce and trade sideways in this range. It's kind of range bound for now. So I think a little retracement is coming, then a sideways price action and a bounce. So 465, then a bounce and sideways price action is what I'm anticipating. I'm going to be playing. I think possibly I might scalp Google. It's just a possibility. Also, Coinbase looks like a really, really nice play. I'll be watching to see if we get this rejection off this doji for a temporary pullback before we try to bounce back up. So I'll be watching that as well. Just wanted to call this out. This is a play I have in my mind. With that being said, though, that's pretty much it for the charts. For Tesla, guys, Tesla has a tendency of kind of dropping then bouncing. So we'll see if Tesla gets a little retracement in the morning, whether it's during the pre-market or at open, and then a nice bounce after that to push back up towards the higher targets. I am still bullish on Tesla, guys. My view has not changed for the super short term. I'm just referring to tomorrow. And for the time being, I'm still bullish, at least for now overall. Could we retrace a little bit? Yes, but I think we're going to get bought back up. So that being said, today is Sunday. It's going to be Super Bowl. It is Super Bowl Sunday, if anything. I'm going to be watching to see how things go. So I'm pretty much done with my analysis part in terms of the charts. But if you want to listen to what I'm going to say about the Super Bowl, you could. So what do I see for the Super Bowl? Honestly, guys, I think that there's a lot that's said about the NFL, in terms of, it being a business and such. And I do want to note that the most popular opinion I am seeing in terms of the amount of money people are betting, in terms of what people are hyping up, is the Chiefs win and then Taylor Swift gets a proposal. That's like what I'm seeing everywhere. And I think that the NFL knows this, and it wouldn't work in the NFL's favor if that ends up happening. Now, you could argue that, the NFL is a business, it's behind all this, maybe it isn't, who knows? You could say whatever you want. I just want to say that both teams are very strong. They both have incredible, receivers. They both have incredible players. I'm very, very proud of both teams, and I respect everyone no matter what. I also want to note that I have families who are fans of the Steelers, fans of all sorts of football teams, the Colts, all over the USA. And I'm never let this get in the way of anything. Please spread love to one another. Don't let the game get in the way. But what is my view of the Super Bowl? What do I think is going to happen? I think that it would be most advantageous if the majority decision is wrong, and that's what tends to happen at these Super Bowls. So if most people are betting that the Chiefs are going to win, they're putting in their money, their time into it, and it's the popular opinion, and people are watching for this big proposal, it might not end up panning out. I'm going to be honest with you. That's what I personally think. And I personally am also a 49ers fan. I actually grew up in the Bay Area. I don't live there anymore, but I used to. But it really is, it really touches me to see them make it this far. I'm proud of both sides. And I also know about what happens in the NFL, how people say it's a business and all these other things. So my view is this. I think that the majority opinion is not going to play out. I think that it's going to end up in favor of the 49ers, not just solely because of like what people say about the NFL and such. It's also because I just want to say they have a great team. You can't really rule that out. and they're going to defy the odds. So I believe the 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl. I think that they're going to end up the victors, not just because of my views or because of my past, because I like them. I also say this because of what I see in the numbers, how many people I see favoring the Chiefs, and all these different factors. So I'm trying to be unbiased when I say my prediction, but simultaneously, of course, I am a 49ers fan. So with that being said, I want the best for everyone. Please have an absolutely spectacular Super Bowl weekend. I think that there are a lot of 49ers fans in Las Vegas. And I think that with all the betting going on, they're more likely to end up winning because the majority of people are betting in favor of the Chiefs. And then if they do win, they're going to be spending a lot of money in Vegas, and they could stay there for even longer, if anything. So that's kind of like the way I've been thinking. But anyways, if you guys want, you could leave your predictions for the Super Bowl down below in the comments. You could think whatever you want. I have respect for anyone, right? And I'm always open to the possibility that anything could happen, right? The Chiefs, I have respect for them. I want the best for them. They have an incredible team, an incredible quarterback. Same thing with the Niners. They have an incredible team as well. So I just want the best for everyone. Let's spread love, not let this get in the way of our friendship or anything like that. And let's just hope for the best. So have a great weekend. Enjoy the parties, the gatherings, and everything like that. And you guys know my pick. I am picking the 49ers to win the Super Bowl. If you have a different opinion, it's your choice. I respect it. Please feel free to leave a comments down below. And take care, guys. Let's get ready for tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for my morning analysis of the markets. And once again, have an absolutely spectacular Super Bowl weekend. Thank you. Tesla in the markets, the moon, because the long term is still very bright. And peace out.